This is Top Shop Podcast.
Shop Podcast.
Top Shop Podcast.
Podcast for automotive service business owners by Paul Donahue.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another Top Shop Podcast. We've been doing lots of podcasts with industry executives in corporations, and my favorite podcasts are with the auto repair shop owners that have been around the block. And Jon Tangye has definitely been around the block. He's been in the business for 23 years. He owns Epoch Automotive. And he's also, for the last couple of years, he's the mechanical director for the Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance, otherwise known as MAACA. So Jon, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this business, about your shop, how long, tell us about Epoch Automotive and kind of bring us up to date a little bit.
Well, so I've been in the industry long enough that this used to actually have color, and now it's starting to turn gray and white. So obviously, I've been in it for too long.
Yep.
But I've watched the industry go all over the place since I've joined it, and a brief history. I mean, I've worked at all these mom and pop shops. I've worked at the commercial shops, dealerships, franchises, you name it, I worked it. One thing in common was always how they treated their techs. And based on how I was treated, I never wanted to treat my techs that way, so I decided to open up my own business.
Well, they didn't treat you guys all like princes and kings?
Well, back then it was more like we were just a level above a slave, I think.
Did you get free coffee?
Nah, that was usually frowned upon because we would get the coffee pot dirty.
Okay, yeah, agree.
They don't like the fingerprints all over the nice, clean things that the customers would have. So we
Right.
so I started my own shop 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago now, in the middle of COVID.
Great time to start. Awesome.
Fantastic time to start. and it was not actually, it wasn't supposed to happen. It was out of a necessity. I had just left my shop due to some differences with my employer, feeling like we needed to do things differently as far as communicate and guide our customers. And he did not want to invest in that and do what it took to keep the doors open. So we decided to just depart ways. I was supposed to just fix up my mother's bathroom because she just had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. And then all of a sudden my customers started calling me during that time off. They started blowing up my phone. Jon, where am I going to go for service? And I said, go back to the shop where I was. And they said, no, we don't want to go back there. So I started brokering jobs to my buddies' shops all over the place just to keep them busy.
Right.
And I would get that done. And then what would happen is I'd get the cars back and they weren't done properly. So I had to redo them in the stone driveway and laying on the uneven ground and trying to work on these cars. And it got to be doing 5-6 cars a day. It was too much for me to handle. And I found this building and the rest is history.
Wow.
This is where Epoch Automotive started. So
no prior management experience in automotive, or you had plenty of great tech experience, but like the owner experience, the management, the hiring,
right.
Yeah.
So I was technically the service manager of a franchise before I left.
All right. So that
experience. Yeah, so I did have some managerial experience. However, boy, did I learn quick that everything I knew working for this franchise, I should have thrown right out the window, because that is not a proper way to run a business. It's not a different, it's a totally different model. It's all about car count. It's not about taking care of customers and making sure that their needs are properly taken care of. So I ended up getting a coach. About a year or two in, I ended up hiring Rick White as my coach, and I've been with him ever since. And I have learned that the way I was always taught management was supposed to be was not how it was supposed to be.
Hmm.
The puff out your chest and see um, and make sure that your guys are doing their work is not a model that actually works. So I had to change how I was as an owner and as a manager and start from scratch.
So, okay, so the authoritarian, I'm the boss, this job needs to get done, you need to do it right. That wasn't working.
No,
What common sense would tell you. And in any job, you hire somebody, you say, I'm hiring you to do these tasks. I think you should be able to do this many tasks a day. That's your key
right,
KPI, your key performance indicator, and it should be done right. Okay. So if it's not done right, I'm going to point it out to you.
right. And a lot of times it's shop owners are egotistical, right? So we want things done exactly the way we want them done, no deviations. Problem is, we forget that there's multiple ways to skin a cat, right?
Right.
And we have to understand that there is that many differences and it doesn't all have to be exactly the same way, so long as it comes out to the same result.
Right.
The car is fixed, there's no missing clips, everything looks like it came from the factory, and we have a smiley, happy customer.
Right. Okay. So what did you find was the best management approach to managing your team?
Well, I found that really just being a coach, just don't be an authoritarian, just be a coach. We're in the same game. We're playing the same game and we're playing on the same team. And I feel like that can also go out to the industry in general. We should be coaching each other. We should be working with each other to build them up and to build up this industry. Hence the reason I got involved in the associations and such,
Hmm.
because I felt like everybody else would benefit from the coaching I received. And we should be working together. The mission is bigger than ourselves. And I think as shop owners, we forget that.
Yeah, and I agree. That be a coach to your staff. I don't care whether you're a dentist with a dental staff or an auto repair shop with a auto mechanic staff. That's solid advice.
Right.
I made the same mistake when starting my company. Hired all these people. Hey, I'm the boss. This is how it should be done. I got these KPIs. This is sloppy work. It's not getting done right. That didn't work out very well for me. So, uh,
No, and I think with the skills gap that's happening too, we have to slowly bring it back up again. We have to be mentors to our employees and really take them under our wing. Yeah, there's some levels of expectations that we have to achieve, but bottom line is we're still humans, and these kids that are coming into the industry, they're still young kids. It's
Right.
not the same type of industry it was 20, 30 years ago.
Nope.
It really isn't.
Oh, no, it is not. Even 30 years ago. Gosh, I'm getting old.
Right.
I remember going to Zayre's and paying 25 cents for a side marker bowl. You need a Phillips screwdriver to replace it.
I had an eye-opening experience back in '08. I was first brought into a shop. It was the first independent repair shop I worked for, and he was part of AASP. And I went to Tech Train Weekend out in Harrisburg with him. This was the first time I've ever been to training that wasn't factory training, and went out and took a whole weekend of these individual classes. I took a service advisor class and then several technician classes, and Then there was, of course, a trade show like we see today and all the big shows that we have around the country.
Mhm.
And I never knew this stuff existed. Never knew it.
Yeah.
And I always thought the industry just, it was, you were battling everybody else. I never knew that there was so much that this industry has to offer. And that was in '08.
Yeah.
So, so what I found was when I started bringing techs to these kind of events, they got to see how big it is. And then they got to open up their eyes and see, look, there really is an awesome community of techs all across the country training, getting training, and they could see that this is big. This is awesome stuff. There is awesome technology coming out that we get to play with and we get to learn on it. And it's really cool stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. So I try to get the realization of what you had when you went to this event. When at Vision, I took all the owners and we researched them, and over half of the owners didn't have a website.
Right?
It's 2025, not 1925, it's 2025. And I tried to tell some of them that, it's that same experience. You're the parrot in the cage, and you've got the water and you've got everything that you need, you got food. Then one day someone comes along years and years later and they take the cover off and you go, wow, that's kind of what it is for digital marketing for shops. So a lot of shops have gotten just really busy. They don't need any kind of website or marketing because they did it on just all through referral. Of course, it took them 20 years to build it up. They could have done it in 5 or 4, but and then they didn't have any plans for growth, so there's no use in them. They
But
can't.
then how do you get past the fact that they look at it as just another expense, not an investment? And that's the other thing that we see a lot is you see these shop owners worrying about whether or not they should open their wallets to invest in showing that they're a top 1% shop.
Yep.
They go to training, they get a website, they get a CRM. They're doing all this stuff and utilizing all this technology, and nobody else is doing it. That's why when I named my shop Epoch Automotive, Epoch, or in Latin, or it's actually Epic, really, but we did it Epoch so we didn't have people accidentally spelling it wrong.
Okay.
But the idea is Epic is Latin for the beginning of a new chapter or a new story.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
Yeah. So what's that?
You never told me that.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why our slogan is the start of a new chapter in auto repair.
Okay, awesome, awesome.
And when I created that, I wanted to do things different. I wanted to show that customers didn't have to fear the mechanic anymore because we have all these tools to be transparent with them. We can show them what's wrong with their cars.
Yep,
We can actually show a video
yep.
of a wheel bearing having play, and you don't have to just take our word for it. Let's break down those barriers using technology.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, so what you said, hey, how do you convince them that it's not an expense? That's my job, and sometimes I just give up. If they say they don't have a website and they're older, I don't even bother talking to them because there's no use. It's the 96 to 97% of they've proven of everything that we think is subconscious. So if you really think about that, that's kind of scary. That means whatever we've repeated in the past, those because thoughts create actions, then that's what we're going to create today. So it's really hard to get somebody to make a change and say, hey, I'll invest 1,500 in digital marketing, 500 in a CRM, and an online scheduling program, and then maybe another 1,500 in paid ads. So I just got a call before I had this podcast with you where I told him, I said, look, I said, do LSA ads. And we did transmission repair because he's Accurate Total Car Care and transmission. We did auto and transmission. And guess where he's at? He's at the very, 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 very top of the page because he's the only one running LSA ads in his town. So,
The thing is though, is the fact that you say that you usually don't talk to an older shop just due to the fact that they're set in their ways. But here's the thing, something that stuck with me. I was listening to a podcast, I think it was with Cecil from the Institute.
Oh,
He
diesel.
said, he said, not everybody is your customer, but you can give everybody a chance to be one,
Hmm.
right? And something like, and I may be misquoting that because it probably sounded a lot cooler coming out of his mouth, but the fact of the matter is I'm going to give everybody a chance to be my customer. And I'll do what I can to help them, but sometimes they just can't be one.
Yeah.
We're not going to meet their expectations.
Hmm. I always
But
ask them, I let them know what the investment is right up front, that way. And so far, I still have never had one that has been in business for a while and hasn't had a website invest in digital marketing. So
right.
not yet. I'm sure I'll get one eventually. So I did have one, but the sons took over. The
Yeah.
father, and it was my shop. It was my shop in St. Petersburg. They work European auto. They European performance. They specialize in Porsche. And so I'd always go, and the father would be like, "Ah, I don't need it." And then the sons took over, and they called me. I think the same day that Dad turned it over to them, and we redid. And now they're number one on Google if you type in European auto repair, St. Petersburg,
Right.
number one above the Porsche dealer. Yeah. So
One thing I would ask them too is what is their car count?
yeah.
What's their average presented invoice?
Hmm.
Hours per invoice, I'd want to know because a lot of those shops too, they're just fixing broken cars.
Hmm.
They're not maintaining, or they're just fixing what's broken, not telling the customer anything else because they didn't look, right? And those are the shops that need the training. Or those are the shops that need that eye opener to say, hey, you're missing out on really taking care of the client.
Right. That's the slow down to speed up. And actually, Cecil Bullard is my personal coach. He's been in the business 25 years, and we live in the same town, and he's helping me out and giving me advice. And he didn't know me for very long before he said, slow down.
Right.
So yeah, you slow down and you take just a few minutes to look the car over and properly advise the customer, hey, you're only a millimeter away from the brake pads being replaced. You can do it now,
Right.
or you can come back in probably about a month if you're driving 3,000 miles a month.
And I imagine with the marketing space, it would be huge as far as why not do a marketing evaluation, right? I know other marketing companies, they call it a digital inspection on their business,
Right,
right? And find out what their actual needs are. Maybe they don't need the car count. Maybe they already have it,
right,
and with marketing, why would you market then if you've already got the car count? Well, the idea is, okay, when are your slow months? Do you have slow months? Do you have peaks and valleys in your business? Because hey, if I'm doing digital marketing, I don't want to have those valleys. I want to be up, 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 and steady the whole way.
yep,
And a lot of these shops don't see that because that same shop that doesn't have have a website, probably around this time or next month or so, they're going to be slow. And
hmm,
then they're going to do all this impulse marketing. They're going to give away the world just to get up that car count because they just didn't plan for this month or the next month.
right. Yeah, I got a shop here locally, a pretty good sized one. That was his biggest complaint was the feast and famine thing. But
Hmm.
I worked with him for over 2 months, and he made the decision to not do anything. So there was a famous study that was done. I can't remember when. Certain people in Africa they kept dying really early, so they sent some researchers down there. Found out what the problem was right away. It was some sort of a bug that lived in the walls of their mud adobe huts. So they had three choices. They could move to where this bug doesn't exist. They could spray their stuff with an insecticide that would kill the bug, or they could do nothing and continue to die early. Which do you think they chose?
Continue to die early, right?
Yep, they didn't chose to do anything. It's a weird quirk of human nature. You mentioned earlier, John, of you mentioned earlier about changes. What in the like last 5 to 10 years, what are the big changes that you've seen in the industry?
Well, first of all, I think shop owners are starting to realize that technicians aren't expendable anymore. That's the first thing. I mean, we do obviously have a technician shortage, and that's been the talk of everything for the past couple of years. That's led every discussion we hear at every association meeting or every trade show. There's a shortage of technicians. How do I find a tech? What should I pay a tech? So obviously that's one of the biggest points. But the other thing is too is one of the one of the biggest points that I've seen is how we communicate with customers, right? The one of the things that there was a survey done years ago. I don't even remember the newspaper that had it out, but literally mechanics were ranked second worst as the second worst person to go and visit. We were second only to dentists,
Huh.
right? And think,
That's right. Yeah.
think about it, right? Who wants to go to a mechanic and spend money,
Money, right, right,
right? Like, and most of the time, the stuff we do, people can't touch, feel, they don't even know the difference on a car.
right,
But I think with the new tools that we have, like doing DVIs and like stuff like moto visuals and everything, we have the ability to educate our customers now better than we ever have. We have the internet where people can just look up and verify what we're trying to tell them now. So we have this golden opportunity to educate our customers to make sure that they're making proper decisions about their safety and reliability of their car. And a lot of shops don't take advantage of that. They are afraid of either they're afraid of the discussion or they're afraid to give too much information. But it's a golden opportunity for us as shop owners. We also have the average car payment right now is $750 a month.
yep,
If you go buy a brand new car, $750 a month. If you go to buy a used car, the average car payment's $550 a month. You buying a $35,000 car and you're going to end up paying 60 grand for it by the time you're done with the loan.
mhm,
Where does that make any kind of financial sense?
right,
And with the economic situation right now, what should people be doing? We should be fixing cars. That's what we should be doing. Fix what's broken, maintain it to make sure it doesn't break in the future, and prevent these people from making poor economic decisions.
right.
This is a golden opportunity for auto mechanics. This is the perfect time to be a tech.
Actually, to go a little one step farther than that, John, it's actually a perfect time to be in all trades. I've been watching AI carefully, and we are implementing AI in everything we do. Meta titles go through an AI process. So if you have a 100-page website, we got 9 different audits that we run. One of them is a meta title audit, and AI, all the knowledge in the world, all of the meta titles of all the shops in the country and the competitors, and it gives us the recommendations. So AI, there's been some major revolutions. There was uh, the agricultural, and then there's the industrial. And
Mm-hmm.
the agriculture went to industrial. They went to the cities. So in 1900, 80% were farmers and 20% were in cities. And 20 years later, it was reversed. Okay.
Right.
So all of these people got absorbed. And then we had the information age. Okay. And that was massive. So once again, most of these factory workers, their kids went into the information age. They went to college, went into the information age. Now, so in other words, everybody was absorbed into the next thing. Got a problem with the AI revolution. It's going to take the jobs of the white collar people, the jobs that of reasoning. Oh, you can't get machines to do this. Yes, we can. So, but there's a problem. There's no place for them to go. So the trades that have been ignored, like auto repair, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, they're the new millionaires. They're going to be making 150,000 a year because they can't get them. And the homeowners, the people are going to pay more to these companies to get these employees. We have from what I understand, and you're really in touch with what's going on with the industry. I think it's a 300,000, right? 300,000 shortage in the next 10 years in automotive. Is that correct?
Probably more than that because just right before COVID, New Jersey had a report saying their state alone, they were short 40,000 mechanics. That was before COVID.
40 mechanics in one state, and New Jersey
Yes.
not that big.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's a lot. So, anyways,
Right. But
message.
here's the thing though, this shortage, just because we have AI, that's one thing, but this is actually all our fault. Growing up, we kept pushing our kids to go into other industries because
Mhm.
we said that the automotive industry or the blue collar industry wasn't glamorous. It wasn't a place to properly raise a family or what have you. When in actuality, it has been the whole time and it's been the most steady. However, Hollywood glorified white collar work
Correct.
for years.
And think about Hollywood's influence. Yes, that's exactly
Right. And think about how many times you go to see how a mechanic was portrayed in Hollywood.
sure.
The mechanic was always some doofy
Right. Yeah.
moron that just worked out of his backyard.
Yep.
That's not a mechanic nowadays.
Nope.
We need kids that are so smart. They're part of the STEM programs in order to fix some of these cars now. Like the idea of a technician or a mechanic is totally skewed and people don't realize it.
Right.
Now, we could talk about the other blue collars. We could talk about electricians. We could talk about carpenters, but let's think about how much their technology's changed in the last 10 years,
Oh, I didn't think about that. Not much at
right?
all. But auto mechanics, because of the cars, the technology in the cars, it's huh.
Yeah. Think about that. Think about this. This is the one of the wildest statistics I've heard. An aircraft like a passenger plane, right? Their computers have 500,000 lines of code in the computers. A car has well over 1 million lines of code in the computers,
Wow.
right? It's absolutely ridiculous.
So that was one of my questions. What trends do you think shop owners are overlooking or underestimating?
Well, first of all, I think one of the things that we as shop owners need to start valuing more is the ability to problem solve. We need to look at these future upcoming um, mechanics. We need to look to make sure that they have the ability to problem solve. Okay. And that doesn't mean they shouldn't be looking on their phones or anything for information. That's exactly where they need to be looking,
Yep.
right? But shop owners are concerned because oh, this kid's on his computer all day, or oh, this kid's on his phone all day. Well, what if he's looking up information, right? The other thing that we have to look and encourage is obviously work ethic. We need to be encouraging it, but I also feel like because these white collar jobs have been so easy to do or less taxing to do, we have set way too high of a standard of how hard a technician needs to work, right? I mean, we're so stuck on the flat rate times and everything, and we believe that that's the Bible, that should be how every car needs to be fixed. Well, in actuality, we can't go by those times. There's no possible way we can learn every single car and their procedures on how to fix them, right? Every time without looking up information,
Correct.
right? So these flat rate times, that's another thing that we really need to work on because we need to start charging appropriately. We need to start making sure that we're getting enough uh, money to be able to support these techs, to make a living, to be able to afford the tools they need to buy, and to be able to, for these shop owners to be able to afford the equipment in order to keep up with all this new technology, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of ties into this question. What's one myth about the industry that you think needs to be debunked? And I think you already said a really good one, the Gomer pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you already answered that one. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I feel like the schools that
they're computer technicians as well. They know how to replace parts, but in order to be a successful tech today, you got to be a computer technician.
but the other problem is too is you get these schools that will dump the kid that's having problems with his grades, or they just don't like him, and they'll dump him into a trade because they feel that that's the only way they can be successful, or they feel that they don't want them to be the problem. So here, you go to the trade school, and now you're the trade school's problem.
Mm.
The way it was when I went to school. I went to school for computer networking. I went to a trade school for that in high school. And when I went to that school, my high school totally forgot about me. I was not their problem anymore.
Mm. Huh.
My grades were bad in school. Nobody cared. This kid is going to a trade school. He's their problem.
Um,
And that same mentality is still happening today.
it hasn't changed yet.
It has not changed yet. But we've got programs that are out now. Like I'm on the advisory board for Philadelphia Community College, and they are a Toyota T10 training facility. These kids could go to this school and graduate Toyota Master Techs. How sweet is that gig, right? This school has so much of the new technology. They have ADAS equipment, they have alignment machines, they even have a four-wheel in-ground dyno so that they can verify driveline noise using a scope, right? I have never used the scope to verify driveline noise. This is wild stuff. Now you're using technology. You're not just sticking a screwdriver to your ear and poking it at something and seeing if you can find where the noise is. Like, how cool is that?
Right.
And this is at a community college.
Right.
Brand new facility that a community college did. And this place will blow your mind. But yet they're still getting these kids. They don't even know how to drive yet,
Wow.
getting to this school.
Mm.
They don't have driver's license in Philly. Like, so these kids, they just never had the ability to go get their driver's license. And they're coming to school to learn how to work on cars, and they have to get taught how to drive a car.
That's that's pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but in actuality, we need the kids that are here that want to learn, that are awesome with electronics, awesome with programming. They want to get into circuitry, right? You can see some of the stuff that like Brandon Steckler and Keith Perkins teach. Dude, this stuff is wild. And they're going into the circuit. They're looking at chip numbers, looking to find out how that chip works so that they can figure out how to diagnose whether or not a power is being sent or a ground is being sent. Because the manufacturers aren't even telling us that information. We need smart people in this industry.
Hmm. Yep. So hey, tell me about a pivotal moment in your journey that you feel has significantly shaped your business. Oh, and by the way, you said something earlier. You have a coach. We're your digital marketing agency. So I see almost all successful shops have that trifecta. They've got goals. They know what they want to do. They've got a digital marketing agency that's providing them with numbers that they can so they know exactly where they're at and where they're moving. And they have a coach that says, "Hey, I've already been there. Don't do that. Do this." You
So I think the one key component to a successful shop is a vision. I think that's the first thing you have to do.
with any business. Yep.
But just to be a successful shop, you need a vision, right?
Right.
And I highly doubt that a successful shop owner envisioned that their dream was going to be a two-bay shop that was full of grease and no lighting, and it was going to be hot as hell in the winter, or in the summer, I mean,
Mhm.
and then no heat in the winter, right? I highly doubt any successful shop owner will tell you that that was their dream, right? The question is, though, is how do you achieve that, the dream that you really want? Do you want a 9-bay shop that's clean, that is well lit, that has nice epoxy floors? How are you going to afford that, right? How are you going to come up with a plan in order to reach those goals in order to be able to afford that, right? I started off with just my shop. I didn't even have the office that I'm sitting in right now. I just had a warehouse space that I fit 3 lifts in, an alignment rack and two post lifts. And I put my office, my front counter was literally some little desk that I put in front of my door at in the middle of the shop. That was how I started,
Right.
right? And now I have 1,000 square foot front office now, right? I still have the shop, it's still the same shop, but I'm doing well enough and I have the goals to be able to go further because of someone like Rick who's teaching me, one, how to not be a jerk as a shop owner. Well, first things first, right? How to start taking care of your people, how to know your numbers, how to understand what they mean, where it's taking you. Then you have to understand, okay, what are the steps you have to take in order to achieve those numbers? And how do you keep yourself motivated to achieve those numbers without getting burned out? That's where the effects of having a coach would be for that, right? Because you need somebody to push you. You need somebody to hold your hand a little bit. We are not as smart as we think we are when we first open a shop. Let me tell you, I had a lot more hair when I first opened a shop. So having somebody to help me motivate me and help me um, stay on the path, I think is truly like the biggest thing to do. And then the other thing is, what kind of impact do we want to make in our communities, right? If you're a 2-bay greasy shop and just fixing broken cars, are you making an impact? Or how about if you're a successful shop, can you sponsor that school football team? Can you sponsor a program to help the homeless get their cars fixed? Can you sponsor, an event for the local Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts to help for car care? Can you make any kind of impact, right? Do you want to make an impact? Most of us, as we got into the industry to be mechanics because we wanted to help people, and it was a great way to do it. Because, God forbid, your car breaks down, what are you going to do? Most mechanics, if you ask any mechanic, and it doesn't matter if we're shop owners or just a regular mechanic, they will most likely tell you we like cars and we like helping people.
Yep.
That's the really cool thing about this industry.
So, what systems or habits do you think have made the biggest impact on your shop's profitability?
Well, first of all, getting me out of the way. That's a big problem. I want to spend money.
Right. Okay.
I like the latest technology. I like playing with the latest gadget. I think the first thing is getting a bookkeeper to tell you, no, stop it.
That's a smart one. Yeah. Get a bookkeeper.
And
Yeah.
then, of course, keeping the dream alive, keeping the vision alive, knowing that if you keep if you keep doing what you're doing, you're not going to make it to that vision.
Yeah, that's a great answer to that question. What systems or habits have made the biggest impacts on your shop's profitability? Getting a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
No, you can't get that right now. You've got the state tax thing you have to pay. Remember them?
Right, right.
Those are the
Oh, but
ones.
I want the new latest Altel, or I want the new Snap-on tool.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Stop it.
How should shops, do you think, be preparing for the next wave in automotive innovation? And God knows what that is. You know, I'm a highly anti-EV person because it's not the green revolution, it's the green revolution. And these cars are environmental absolute disasters. The mining that they have to do to get the resources to build these cars. We already have internal combustion and the infrastructure for internal combustion, so it'd be awesome if we could switch to hydrogen, except how do you transport, store, and use hydrogen in a car and get rear-ended by somebody and you not blow up mom and the kids? So
So here's my thing.
it would be awesome if we could harness it.
If you're a car guy,
Yeah,
you're gonna love everything with four wheels.
right. Oh, everything with four wheels,
Everything with four wheels.
whether it's EV, hybrid.
Yep. You're gonna love it all. Because you know what? Each one of those types of cars has something in it that could blow your mind or could really impact a really an interesting situation. Like it give you a really interesting situation. I had a customer put me on as a user for their Tesla because they lost their keys. So they had to make me a user on the app.
Oh,
The whole time I'm playing with the Sentry mode, and every time somebody walked past the car, I hit the fart button. I had to do it. As a grown child, I have to play with gadgets. Okay, but here's the thing: that's not in a gas car. I'm sorry. I think every car should have a fart button.
there you go.
It's hilarious, right? But here's the other thing: electric cars have incredible amounts of torque.
Yeah, I haven't even driven.
That off the line
Yeah,
torque is awesome. That is cool, man. Right? Now, diesels have a lot of torque too, but it's a different type. They're geared differently.
right.
You want to haul something, you want to show how manly you are and how far you can pull something, you get yourself a diesel. But you want to get off the line fast, electric's the way to go.
Right.
But here's the thing. The electric cars also have a little bit more budget to play with electronics. A little bit extra tweaks here and there could go into a gas car. And those gas cars could be brought up to be something really cool, really wild, right? So as a mechanic, I don't care much about the battle between whose car is going to impact the environment better. My job is to just make sure every car is safe, reliable, and efficient. But you know what? If my customer comes in and they love their Lucid, man, I love it too because they love it. And my job is to make sure they continue to love their car, right? So again, with the new technologies, we're going to be here, we're going to be fixing it. So we better just embrace it. Change is happening, whether we like it or not. It's just where are you in that time of being able to embrace it? Right? Are you stuck in the 90s? Are you still working with vacuum gauges and
Yeah.
the Sun machine trying to diagnose cars? Or are you in today's technology using lab scopes? Are you doing ADAS calibrations? Are you able to keep up with today's technology? Embrace it. Enjoy it. Let AI help you out as much as you can. It isn't taking our jobs. They can't take our jobs. You can't beat experience.
That's another thing that AI, like I said, AI is going to replace a lot of these analysts and data reasoning and all these jobs that we thought were protected, that only humans can do these jobs.
Mhm.
We already have quantum computers. So a quantum computer they can possibly potentially get them to fire like our brains do,
Mhm.
everything all at one time. So that's kind of scary because anyway, another
Well,
sub.
it was really funny because there's a tire company around here. They strictly do just tires. They bought a robot just so it could do tires.
Oh,
It's a big arm that goes takes the tire off the wheel off the car, unbolts it, puts it onto the tire machine, dismount. You use the tire machine to dismount the tire. Then it takes the wheel and the tire assembly and then puts it right onto the balancer. Like it's cool. But you know what? They still need a human to stand there, one, to make sure it's done right, and two, if there is a situation where the robot does not know how to handle it, we're still there because we know how to handle it.
right,
How is that robot going to help with rust buildup on a rotor?
right.
They don't know anything about that stuff. They don't know if it's properly torqued because there's rust buildup.
Yeah.
That robot also can't go and diagnose a wheel bearing that's making noise, right? What is a robot going to do to be able to diagnose that? How are they going to do that? Noise travels through cars sometimes. Again, experience.
Correct. Yeah. So I want the auto repair industry is definitely safe. Robotics and AI is going to replace 30% of jobs in the next, I forgot what it was. It was pretty scary. And a lot of them are white collar jobs, not the not plumbers, not mechanics, not HVAC people, electricians, roofers. Robots aren't replacing them.
I
So
was talking to a customer yesterday. He might be on the chopping block of 2,200 employees being let go.
wow, for what kind of company, John?
He's a software engineer.
Yep, software engineer. Yeah.
Yep.
AI chat GPT can write code like blindingly fast. So,
I will say though, when I have it do some chat GPT, I have it write up some things. I have to go through it to make sure it's right because it does like to mess things up.
everything that we do is AI assisted. I call it AS, artificial stupidity. It's only as smart as the person putting the information in. So
Right.
everything that we do, but it has radically changed. Like our team that when we write our blogs, we have a very special way that we write blogs so so the topics that we write can get searched for and found on Google. So the blog outline used to could take somebody who's really, really good 6 to 8 hours to do a really good blog topic outline. So now it can take us an hour to put in all the information, and chat will give it to us in about 10 minutes. And then it takes about another 20, 30 minutes to get rid of the stupid stuff that's in it
Right.
and fix it. And it's so everything, I think what we're going to see is more AI assistance, not AI actually taking over the thing. So what advice would you have for someone that's just starting a shop today, the way you did 5 years ago? Don't start it during an epidemic.
Well, there's a lot of things that I would have done a lot differently.
Well, what would be some of the best advice that you'd give to somebody that's really just getting started, John, that and they could use your kind of experience?
If so, I like what the mobile guys are doing, but they work really hard to do it. Where they just start off small. They have a truck, they're just traveling around and they're diagnosing cars for other shops. I love that. Those guys are incredibly smart. Um, However, if you want a brick and mortar, I would definitely tell you you need at least $250,000 in your bank after you buy all your equipment.
Yeah.
You need enough money in there to work expenses and to advertise like crazy. And one thing that I don't think gets told enough is networking. You have to network with other businesses. You have to work in your community to get your name out. You cannot just sit there and think that cars are just going to show up.
Right. Join the Chamber of Commerce, get involved in your community.
Absolutely.
Uh,
Build some kind of name for yourself.
One of my customers in Ohio that coats for kids. So his wife goes all year long. As a hobby, she goes to thrift stores and she'll buy coats. And they're every year they're the one of the largest donators. They do hundreds of coats, and they pay $2, $3, $4, $5 for a lot of these coats at the thrift stores.
Yep.
And then he said he couldn't believe how much, and they didn't do it for business. His wife was just doing it because the way she grew up, she remembered going to school and was cold, having to stand. So she wanted to make sure that kids always were warm. And so, but the amount of business that they get from that is absolutely amazing. So,
The other thing that I would tell people too is to leave your ego aside. Okay. That is another thing as a tech trying to open up a shop, right? You have to you got to remember that, yeah, you can work on cars, but you're no longer a mechanic anymore. You're a business owner, right? And I guarantee you, everything you think you know about the business is either wrong or a little skewed because without proper coaching and education, you are not going to be very successful in a shop. Be okay with asking questions. Be okay being vulnerable. It is okay. There is no change unless you be vulnerable.
mhm.
It is okay.
It is unfortunately a male trait to not ask for help. So I read a book on this a long time ago. So a women will talk to each other about their relationships. Blah blah blah. They'll talk. Oh, you're dating this guy. Blah, 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 blah. Men, you still dating her? Yeah. Oh, good. That's it. We're done. We don't ask for advice. We don't ask for help. It's embedded in us. But in order to go from, especially from being a mechanic, a good mechanic that wants to start their own shop, it's imperative to get to that point as quickly as possible to get a digital marketing agency that knows what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to get your name out there on the web. All right. So when people are searching for the oil changes or brake repair or auto mechanic or whatever, they can get found. They can
Mm-hmm.
paid ads that get a return on investment. So you're not spending money. I invested 1,500 this month, but I got, $12,482 back. Great. All right. So we got almost a 10 times return.
Yep.
And then get to the point as quickly as possible to get the coach. Because a good coach should tell you right away, because I've already been around some coaching companies, and they don't immediately tell some of these shops that I've talked to they need to focus on their website. So I don't know if Rick does that, but I know that Cecil Bullard does. So I mean that's one of the first things you've got to make sure that you're getting both of those, so you're not that bird in the cage that's just hey, I'm surviving off the referrals, but there's this whole
Yep.
world out there that you can open up.
Well, that comes from also education.
Yeah.
So yeah, the coaches aren't pushing the websites right now because right now they have a bigger issue. A lot of the shops have a bigger issue than just their website. Their bigger issue is the fact that they need to get out of their own way.
Oh.
They're their own problem first. So yeah, they don't talk about the marketing right away because first they got to teach these people to charge appropriately.
Uh,
They have to make sure that they're using a parts matrix. They need to make sure that they're charging to the point where that's what's going to cover their expenses, right? Because that's how little shop owners know what they should be doing. You got to figure. Finn Waterhouse did an awesome report through Napa. Average repair shop across the country, net profits 5%. 5% net, right?
Pretty low.
You're $750,000 shop. What does that come out to?
Much.
Right. That's not much at all. And you're talking, let's see, 750.
37.5.
Right. That's what they're paying themselves. They're paying themselves $37,500
Yeah,
because that's what they're profiting.
I think McDonald's managers are making more than that.
Right. Yeah, why open a shop if you're going to only pay yourself $37,000? I'm sorry, that is not why I want to cover the stress, get involved in all this stress and turn gray and bald from opening up a shop for $37,000 a year. I'm sorry, that ain't happening.
Right.
Okay. So that's where the coaches come in.
Yeah, and I agree with you. My only rebuttal to that would be the faster you have money coming in. So if you start doing LSA ads and you start getting a good return on your
Right.
investment, you can make a lot of money covers a lot of mistakes.
Right. But what good is marketing if you don't know how to close the sale or make the appointment?
Yeah, yeah,
And that's the other problem, right? Yeah, marketing is extremely important. Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
I'm not saying
Done
it
it,
is,
you know.
but you need to know how to talk to a customer. You need to know how to bring them into that front door, and you need to know how to take care of them,
Hmm.
right? So so marketing absolutely important, but you could have these shops that haven't been doing marketing at all, and they're booked out 2 months.
Yeah.
Then what else? Now, are they bringing in the customers that they should be bringing in because they don't have a good marketing campaign? That could be true. Or are they bringing in customers because they suffer from what I call the hero syndrome, right? They just want to fix every car that's broken because they want to be the hero.
Right.
Now, is that going to be profitable? Is that going to help you move to the next step?
Nope.
Probably not. So, don't you think we need to bring in a better quality customer? Sure. I have this conversation with tires all the time. I teach a tire class.
Hmm.
And that tire class, I literally tell people to stop trying to sell cheap tires. Cheap tires aren't going to make you a good customer.
Nope.
However, you have an opportunity to educate that customer and move them to the next level. Help them love their car, help educate them, tell them, show them that you know what you're talking about,
Hmm.
get them into a better tire. Maybe then they will start to treat their car better. If they treat their car better, they're going to ask you, how can they keep that car for longer? Now you're creating a customer that's worth having, right? But it's all training.
Awesome.
And my suggestion, my last piece of advice for any shop owner getting into this, get involved, get in the associations, understand what's out there, get training, training. I
Yeah.
cannot stress that enough.
Right. If you guys are listening, if you're anywhere over on the East Coast, Maaka, Mid-Atlantic Auto Care Alliance. If you're anywhere in the central part of the country, Midwest Auto Care Alliance, Milwaukee, Vision Trade Show, gotta go. If you're anywhere out, say, let's say towards the West Coast, NWACA, Northwest Auto Care Alliance. These are just some of the ones that are out there, by the way. And then for sure, anybody that's on the East Coast, in the central and especially central and south east is the Auto Service and Tire Alliance Expo that in fact they just moved for the first year. They moved out of, in fact, I saw you there. They just moved out of the hotel and they moved into the Raleigh Durham Convention Center. So
And then in the southeast, you have Flocka,
oh, Flocka, yeah, I forgot about
Florida ACA.
that. ACA.
And now my friend John Firm is working on doing Texas ACA.
Oh, really? Okay. So
We've
how
done
would
that.
you pronounce that one? Texaca?
Yeah, right. I don't know. He's also got the Texas two-step too that
Okay.
he's doing.
All right. Well, John, listen, I really appreciate your time today. So I appreciate you being a guest on the show, and we'll get the edited version over to you as soon as possible. And anybody, if you want to reach out to John, got any questions to ask him, you're a member of our Facebook group, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So just go to the Auto Repair Shop Owners Alliance and look for John and send him a note or a question. He'll be more than happy to respond. That's the Auto Repair Shop Owners Alliance Facebook group. So, all right. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. So let me.
Thank you.
For additional automotive resources and exclusive content, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch all our episodes. Thanks again for joining us in the driver's seat, and we'll see you next time for another thrilling episode of Top Shop.